What is up, my friends? The Reds are back to winning ways in the Premier League, beating Brighton and Hove Albion by 2-0. It was a brace from Hugo Ekitike with assists from Joe Gomez and Mohamed Salah. The one worrying point of the game was Joe Gomez going off early doors with an injury. We don't really have a full uptake on that one. Also, Dominic Szoboszlai went off, but he was back up from that little knock, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. All in all, though, very grateful as a Liverpool fan to send Mo off to the AFCON off the back of a win. And it just feels like a win-win all around for everybody today. Yes, there were chances for Brighton. Yes, we were exposed at times. But you could talk about it the other way as well and say that Liverpool could have won this game by 3, 4 or 5. Ultimately, though, absolutely delighted for Hugo. A very well-deserved brace today. And as Liverpool fans, we've surely got to be happy about that win. 2-0 will do. It is now a week for the boys to get together again, figure it all out, come back next week and hopefully go for another 3 points. We will take you through the game, giving you, of course, our thoughts on it, asking you for yours. The comment section is open. Do let us know your thoughts. The Anfield Agenda Man of the Match poll is open as well there now for everybody. 4 options today. Dominic Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, Ugo Ekitike and Florian Wirtz. Connor doing Kirkes dirty there, not putting him in the player rate or putting him in the man of the match poll. I know he has his own methodology to do it, so I'm not going to be angry. But ultimately, we do want to know your thoughts, folks. So do let us know, and don't forget, if you'd like to submit your player ratings, you can do so by joining the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp. Just scan the QR code there on the screen or the one in the bottom right hand corner. Right. ESG Soccer said, as I said in August, Ekitike better than Isak. Well, at the moment, it's not even a debate. It's not even a debate, mate. He's been fantastic since he's come in. Again, a brace today. One header at the back post from a lovely Salah corner. And then, of course, first finish as well. A thumping strike past Verbruggen. I'll take it. I'll take it. Also, let's go through some of the numbers. Possession, it was evenly split, 50-50. Total shots for Liverpool, 18, but again, only 4 of those on target. Brighton, 14 shots, 1 on target. So I think it's fair to say both sets of teams didn't really bring their shooting boots today. Dangerous attacks, 40 for Liverpool, 60 for Brighton. 60 dangerous attacks. Liverpool corners, 2 apiece. Passes for the Reds, 515 with an 87% accuracy. Brighton, 499 passes with an 89% accuracy. But the most important statistic, of course, is the scoreboard. And that was Liverpool 2, Brighton 0. Curtis impressing me recently, said Tilly. Jones is a legend, said Owen. Curtis Jones, once again, put in a brilliant shift today. And I'm glad you're recognising that. He deserves all the flowers that comes his way. There aren't many really critical performances of the group in all today. What I would say is, and I think you'll agree with me, while we were better attack-wise, we did, leave some spaces that Brighton on another day could have had a goal or two. But that ain't our problem, is it? We've been unlucky at other times as well. So 2-0, a 2-goal win feels about right to me from what we've seen there today. But Brighton, they're an impressive side as well, who play their way into decent opportunities. Huge clean sheet, said Safilo. Gravenbergs and Canade kept us defensively solid. Daniel said, I hope this is not Salah's last game. I don't know, mate. I really don't know. But at least it was a positive. What we don't know what happens now, except Mo goes to the AFCON. But we know he got a good run out. We know he got a good reception. We know he got an assist. And we know we won the game of football. So it feels like everybody's a winner today. But like you said, we don't know what's going on there. Good that we're having a week to rest. Yeah, we've got, I think, 2 weeks in a row now where we're 1 game a week. So definitely a bit more time for the boys to work on a few more tactics. You can see some relationships forming out there now on the pitch. Dominic Szoboszlai, again, absolutely tremendous. Wirtz coming into his own out there. Not surprised to see him taking off around the 80-minute mark. It's something the manager's done consistently when he's been on. But yeah, very few negatives out there. Milos Kerkez, I thought Connor would go as far as to say it was his best game in a Liverpool shirt. Certainly think it was a very, very good shift there. And yeah, I'm happy as a Red. Not perfect, but like I said, a win is a win is a win. I hope it is, to be honest. Apart from the assist, his passing was just poor. Yeah, look, it felt like they were trying too hard for Mo today when he came on. Chiesa set him up with a chance that he absolutely could have taken himself if he wanted to. Then there was that ball right at the end that he overhit when he was trying to lay it into the path of Van Dijk, and I don't remember who was breaking with him. So yeah, look, Salah, he almost felt like he just wanted it too much today when he came on. But he had a good response. You have to say that when he came on, we certainly felt a bit of a lift out there on the pitch. So good, I'll take it. Itachi said, relieved. Wish you all a great weekend. Thank you, bro. Same to you. Can't lie, Salah was a bit stinky, but was sometimes good, said Moosey. Whole team was playing for each other, said Biggie Mall. Chiesa didn't want to go, only for Salah. What a player. Yeah, it was extremely generous of Chiesa, because he absolutely could have taken that on himself, but he probably did the right thing to square it. It's just a shame Salah couldn't keep the shot down. He was leaning back when he side foots it. But he was smiling, Craig. Always a good sign. Definitely. Look, like I said, I feel better about life as a Liverpool fan today. Seeing them all out there together on the pitch, all playing for each other. Yeah, it makes me happy. Like I said, though, we don't know what happens between, now and when the AFCON's over, but at least we know he's not going under a cloud now. He's going after coming out onto the pitch there, making a difference, having an assist and smiling, like you said. Jones, what a baller, dancing on the field. He was brilliant again. And I'm glad you've all highlighted him, because Jones deserves that credit. Hugo is phenomenal, back-to-back braces. Yeah, look, one thing I can't argue it right now is if we're talking about who the number 9 that's made a bigger impact since they've come in is, it is very clearly Hugo Ekitike. He is light years ahead at the moment. And if you're picking one number 9, it's Hugo at the minute. Defo starting to see some chemistry appearing. I hope second half of the season is full of Salah lightening the league up. Champions League and more consistent performances and that player chemistry getting up there, said Mark. Thank you, Mark. No, like Eli said, feels like reverse psychology from Mo. The team is playing with real fight, a desire to defend and work hard. It's like a switch got flipped after Mo's comments. Kanade having such a clear head is a big impact, said Sean. Yep, let's just hope he signs that contract and we can get more clarity. Just seen a replay here of Hugo's first goal. Got to give Joe Gomez a lot of credit for that, bravely putting his head in there, but what a rifle of a finish as well from Hugo. Darth Cannabis said Wirtz is a generational talent, give him time to cook. Look, I hope people see the progression in Florian Wirtz game on game, because it's clear to see he's getting there bit by bit. You can see that he's a bit more solid physically, but for me, his impact and influence on games is growing week on week. Chiesa, quality, Andy defence, said David O'Connell. David, I hope, mate, I really, really hope that with Salah going off to the AFCON, that he starts to lean on Fede a bit more now. We need everybody. We need everybody available. And we know we're never, ever going to see a lack of fight from Fede Chiesa. So definitely hope that the manager can lean on him a bit more. Lee Hughes said, I'm seeing it with Wirtz. Lee, my man, one thing I've said consistently since Wirtz came in is, and this is aimed at Liverpool fans, I cannot wait for the I told you so's. Mate, I've never been more excited to be right. And again, this isn't aimed at Liverpool fans. This is aimed at opposition fans who were just, one, jealous, make no mistake about that, and two, praying for him to fail. So much so that they just refuse to acknowledge anything good. The I told you so's are going to be so, so sweet when this man really, really starts to light up the Premier League. What did I miss? I was at work and heard Mo was back to his playing ways. He was back out there. Gomez went down with an injury early, about 20-25 minutes in. Mo came on. And yeah, look, we won today and it was a good win. But in another day, we could have conceded 1 or 2 as well. But that was more like us, wasn't it? We've always been a team that give up chances. But that style, that aggression, that effort, that just felt more like us today. Mo Salah breaks the record of most goals and assists for a single club. Yeah, we talked about that. Here's the chart for you. Fifth place on that list is Thierry Henry with 249 goals and assists for one club. Harry Kane, 259. Ryan Giggs, 271. Wayne Rooney, 276. And number one, top of the pile, most goals and assists for a single club in Premier League history, Mohamed Salah with 277. Adamus, a great win. Do you think Mo should still be sold? It's always been the same answer for me, mate. If he wants another chapter, look, I think about it like this. If the manager sits down with Mo and says, look, Mo, I can't guarantee you're going to be playing every week. I can't. And Mo's happy to fight for his place, cool. Everybody wins. But if the manager says that and Mo thinks, no, at this point in my career, I need to be playing all the time, then I understand that as well. I've always said the situation will be driven by what he wants to do. And if he wants to go, I think it'll happen. If he's willing to stay and fight, I think that'll happen. But I honestly, hand on heart, mate, don't have a clue what way this plays out. We're going to learn a lot over the next few weeks when he is at the AFCON. That was more like the Liverpool I know, said TOTT2KZ1. Busting a goal for everybody. Line to defend. Yes, it's still not perfect, but 2 games and conceded 0 is better. Of course it is. 100% agree. Paddy Wacker said, Craig, I feel to me we are IBU's second, third choice. Second, third choice. I'm not happy the way his head was turned so much to Spain. If this is all true, then I don't want Ibu on our side. Look, I want a centre-back, Paddy Wacker, first day of the window opens. I want a centre-back in because we need one badly. We need it for competition, we need it for rotation, and we need it because, as you said, we don't know what's going on with Canade's future. So, that's just the thing I'm most interested in this window is, do we move for a centre-back quickly? So Mohamed Salah is now outright third place and having the third most goal contributions in Premier League history, even allowing for more than one club for a player. His assist today takes him to 280 above Frank Lampard's 279. Also, what did Slot do to get Mo back into his form? I have no idea. I think Mo just, when he got the chance to come on with his family there, with this being his, his last game before the AFCON, I think Mo just wanted to go out there and show something as well. Why do we play 2 left backs and Rio still frozen out on the bench? I can only, and again, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, the only thing I could think of is to offer more defensive solidity down that side. Maybe Arner felt like Brighton were going to start just taking all their attackers off the bench, and by bringing Robbo on ahead, he could also get Robbo to track back to defend. You're right though on young Rio and Gamoa, and I've said the same all season. The only person blocking Rio's pathway is the manager. So to talk about not bringing in another attacker because of that, it's very tough to take as a fan when you see him not getting minutes anyway. Lego Racing, thank you, mate. Appreciate you. So, Hugo Ekitike after the game has said, I wouldn't say it was perfect because I know I could score way more today. The most important thing was to win in front of our fans, and it was a good day's work. At least he's honest in saying he knows he could have had a few more there today because he could have. Also, from Hugo Ekitike on his first goal, the ball came quickly. I tried to be ready. You don't expect to score it in the first minute, but I always try to be ready. On his second goal, this is what Hugo had to say. Mo gave me a great ball. I just had to be in a good place. It was easy to finish. And I have to say, it was a fantastic corner from Salah. He peeled away at the far post, Ekitike, and it was a simple header, but a very good delivery from Mo and good movement from Hugo. Bradley said Mo looked like he was giving it his all today, but fluffed his lines. Yeah, sometimes players can feel a little bit overly enthusiastic. Connor said to me, Arsenal fans in meltdown on Twitter because they signed Gyökeres instead of Ekitike. Arsenal fans were a funny old bunch. In meltdown because they signed Gyökeres and not Ekitike when they also wanted Isak. But let's not forget the most important thing. And this is the one thing I want Arsenal fans to never, ever, ever forget. Never, ever, ever forget that you are the fan base. You are the entitled arseholes that put a fucking You wanted Madueke gone before he even came in. You put around a whatchamacallit, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? I'm drawing a blank. Petition. A petition to stop signing a player. A petition. That's extremely fucking weird. Like, imagine signing a petition to stop your club signing a player. That is some weird stuff, lads. Weird stuff. But yeah, doesn't matter. Let them be in meltdown. Ekitike's a red. Isak's a red. Wirtz is a red. And they should just be top of the league and considering their own form. Who thinks Arsenal are going to bottle it? Do you think they're going to bottle it and be caught by Man City or somebody? Because it feels like injuries are catching up with them. And do you know what I always find funny about their injury crisis is? Nobody seems to point to the manager for overplaying people over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Most people in the chat feel that they will bottle it. If you asked me 2-3 weeks ago, I would have had no doubt Arsenal win the league. But now I am starting to have a bit more doubt as the injuries are picking up on them. But yeah, let's wait and see. Will it be another Arteta choke or not? Curtis Jones is making himself indispensable, said Maddie Gorman. Full credit, Maddie. Glad you're seeing what I've been seeing for a while in Curtis as well. Would I like Salah to stay? Of course. Mate, I want everyone to be happy, harmonious and pulling in the same direction. I don't know what way this Salah situation plays out. I really don't. But I feel happier as a Liverpool fan with the way today went. You know, over the past 2-3 days, I wasn't sure what to expect today. And I don't think I was on my own. We didn't know if he'd be in the squad at first. Then he's in the squad and you're thinking, right, is this just a token gesture to put him back in the squad because it's his last game before the AFCON? But then when Joe Gomez picked up that injury and the first person the manager turned to was Salah, I thought that was a good sign. So let's wait and see how things go over the next few weeks. But look, I'm a happy Liverpool fan today. You know, there's no big fallout, no big drama. A 2-0 victory, backing up a win during the week against Inter Milan. A week now between our next games. Hopefully go and win that. And then confidence continues to build. I sincerely hope they bottle it, but not to 115 FC, said Save of the Flavour. Kieh said 10 out of 10 effort. Salah didn't really improve anything today. Liverpool was fine without him, missed so many chances. I mean, look, I think that's a little bit disingenuous. As soon as, look, we were playing good, but when he came on, I think to say that we didn't have another dimension would be unfair. I do agree and completely understand your point. He was wasteful. Can't push back on that. And people were going out of their way to try and set him up, especially Chiesa. But I think he added something to the team as well. And let's not forget, his set-piece delivery was top-notch for Ekitike's goal. It was a wonderful cross. So let's just be happy. You know, let's just be happy as Liverpool fans that we won. Because the more competition there is in the squad, I think the better everyone's levels will be. And, you know, that's the way I try to think about it as a fan. Dave said, do you think the players respect Slot more after standing his ground and dropping Salah? Or do you think they couldn't care either way? No, I think you'd have to have more respect for a manager standing his ground. I don't think it will be the defining moment for your belief one way or the other. But make no mistake about it, it is the right thing to do, whatever side of this debate you're on. In any player versus manager row, the club have to back the manager. You can't seem to be undermined by any player. So I think Arne has done the right thing. But I also think the response after he's done it and the results has helped the situation as well. But it's good. You know, let's not forget where we were after that Leeds game. Salah having the interview, everybody in meltdown, we're all fighting with each other. And over the next few games then, we've ground out a win away against Milan. We've got a win today at home. And 3 points is always a good feeling. So, I'm trying to look on the positive side of it because there were plenty of positives today. And the effort and work rate from the lads out there was one of them. Salah can stay if he takes a 50% wage cut. There's not a hope in hell he's taking a wage cut. Would you? That's just a silly statement, Matty. Come on. You signed a contract 6 months ago or 7 months ago. Nobody's taking a wage cut when they're already on a contract. It's not happened in football ever that you renegotiate down a contract that you already have. So, whether you want Mo to say or not, that's fine. But, the contract thing is just never ever going to happen. Lego Racing, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. What experience has Slot got in managing big names? He has to realise he needs some sort of harmony in the squad. But you don't need history managing big names. You don't. I don't get it. Managing an ego isn't difficult. The manager has to be the final word. It's that simple. And I don't rate Slot for a lot of stuff. But in these situations, I've said before, I want my manager and my club to be ruthless and stand their ground. But I also think the context of the way the situation comes about is important. And ultimately, whatever way we're thinking about this, whatever side of it you're on, since it's happened, we've won 2 games. That's where my head's at. We've won 2 games, and I couldn't give a fuck after that. I don't care who's right, who's wrong. Let them figure that out. I'm a fan. I want Liverpool to win games of football, and we've won 2 games of football. So I'm a happy camper, but there's still more work to do. And let's not try and be divisive ourselves when there's enough people out there trying to press on this moment and capitulate us. Stick together. This is a game I feel like Rio would have thrived in. Certainly with the amount of counter-attacking space we had in the last 10, 15. Yeah, I would say I could have understood why he came on. Or why he, should have came on. But the manager just hasn't given them minutes this season, has he? Now with Mo going to the AFCON and Gakpo injured, we know our choices are even more limited. So will he start to look at Chiesa? Will he start to look at Rio? The next few weeks will give us more answers on these. Salah as a right forward gets him in great position, said Lego Racing. Thank you, man. Look, many of us have been calling for Salah to be a second striker for a long time. And maybe this is the thing that forces it. But like I said, right now as I sit here, you could say to me, Craig, there's 50 quid. Does Salah stay or does Salah go? Put it in a pile. I don't know. I really, really do not know. Because if I'm being honest, if we play well when Mo's at the AFCON and the team is gelling and picking up wins, I can see an interview or something coming out at the AFCON and I can see a dent to someone's ego that the team can thrive without them as a possible thing that happens here. So I'd be pleasantly surprised if he gets through the AFCON and we don't see any negative or strange headlines. Because I say this every time players go away on international duty. It tends to be when more of the negative stuff comes out because they're further away from the clubs. Whether that's journalists trying to be shithouses or whether that's players speaking out of turn a little bit more. It does tend to happen when they've got a prolonged period away from the club. I know it's a silly statement, but that's the point. 400k for a 34-year-old who's on the wane is crazy. But here's the thing, Matty, right? And I don't remember, dude, where you were with it last season. I'd be a liar if I said I did. But I think as a whole, as a fan base, we said he deserved the contract last season. And contracts are about what you're doing now and in the future. And he hasn't done enough since he signed that deal. But, let's not reinvent history. We did pretty much as a fan base all say, give the man what he's looking for because he was so incredible. Is this potential drop off a real surprise? Maybe not. Maybe not. But, you know, as a fan, sometimes I talk about the numbers, sometimes I'm not arsed. I just want wins. I just want a harmonious squad. I just want us playing good football. I don't buy into singular player anything because I don't care. I don't care about golden boots. I don't care about Ballon d'Ors. I don't give a shit. I care about the team winning and egos being brushed to the side and everybody pulling in the same direction. Right. Almir said, you look at a little lash with that new top on. That's a very Irish thing. It's a lovely top. I'd certainly urge anybody to grab themselves one if they're looking for something for treating themselves. My biggest issue with Chiesa's Salah chance was Isak stopped running. He should have allowed himself to be an option for Chiesa to pass to. I must look back on that, KB. I must look back on that. Do you remember the chance at the end where Salah overhit the ball? I do feel like he could have angled his run a bit more because if you look at it at the time, so Salah was fairly central. Virgil, and I can't remember who the other player was that was up with him, they were all running within 5 yards of each other. I felt like if Mo would have taken the run initially wider and opened up the space a bit, we might have had a better outcome. But look, I'm nitpicking at that point. Hugo Ekitike on Mohamed Salah said, Mohamed is a great professional. I look at him as an example. You can see how much he's involved in goals and assists. He's a legend here. To share the pitch is a blessing. That's the kind of player who makes us like to watch football. Lovely words there from Hugo on Salah. Hugo, again, speaking about his own time at Liverpool, said, I really enjoy my life here. I've great teammates, good staff, great fans. They give me so much love, so I try to give it back. The best way is to score goals, be involved, and win games. Which he is. Ian Rush in intensive care. He's not. He's out of intensive care. We covered it earlier on. I'll take you back through it now. 1 second. Yeah, so Mike Keegan said Ian Rush spent around 48 hours in intensive care earlier this week, suffering from the super flu outbreak. Thankfully, the Liverpool legend has responded well to treatment. He's in good spirits and should be home before Christmas. So can we not spread half stories and falsehood, mate, just to try and scare people? You know, he was in intensive care, but as Mike Keegan there reported, he's responded well to treatment and he should be home for Christmas, which is, again, all that we all want. And again, from all of us, we wish Ian Rush a full and speedy recovery. What's a super flu? I think it's one of these new strains of a virus that, you know, just keeps getting worse and worse each year. I know so many people who've picked up flus and bugs this year, and they've tended to hang around a lot longer and be pretty severe. You know, I know some people have been really sick with a few things for a solid month. So yeah, just look, glad to hear Ian Rush is heading in the right direction because we throw around the word legend a lot, but Mr. Rush is more than a legend. He's an icon of this club. I've had it for a week, can definitely see why Rushy was in ICU. Said Pasky, well, I hope you feel better soon, my friend. Full recovery to you as soon as possible. Desperately need Gay in January now, especially after the Gomez blow. Yeah, I mean, when we get any update on Joe Gomez, we will, of course, let you know because at least Bradley's back now. So we know that Conor Bradley served the suspension, so he'll be back next week. We would hope Frimpong continues to train, so we should see him on the bench as well soon. But yeah, Gomez is our only other fit available kind of centre-back / full-back, so fingers crossed it isn't serious for Joe. Cahill said, Salah and Van Dijk at the end of their careers, absolute legends of the club, but they need to be sold early next year. I wouldn't agree on the selling of Virgil. I do think if he had somebody like Mark Gay alongside him, I think we'd be better. But look, another thing I would like to say there is Virgil and Canade have pretty much played every single game. You know, they've had no rest between them because of the centre-back situation. That needs to be taken into account as well, because if you had a Mark Gay there or a Schlotterbeck there or anyone, you could give these guys a break and increase competition. So I'm just grateful we haven't picked up another centre-back injury between one of the two of them. Canade said, sometimes you have to understand the frustration. Everyone loves each other in this club. Speaking about the Mohamed Salah situation. Isak shite, Newcastle got a good deal. Fuck you. Anybody who comes in with Isak shite can just fuck off. It's as simple as that. Idiots. And I mean that to our fans or to other fans. Don't care. Idiots. If you're writing off any player who's had a slow start to the Liverpool career, has come in unfit and needs to work their way in, if you're writing them off in 3 or 4 months, you're an idiot. End of conversation. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. He hasn't been good enough. Nobody's trying to say he has. But again, it takes time sometimes. We didn't sign a player for 3 months. We signed a player for 5 or 6 years. So how about giving them a chance? He's got, big competition now. And if he wants to get a game time, his level's going to have to go up. Ekitike is absolutely bossing it at the minute. But I don't understand this writing off players so quickly. It's embarrassing. People wrote off Dominic Szoboszlai 2 years ago. I don't get it. I don't get it. Salah added fluidity in the attack. He also defended well today. His corners have been underrated this season. Him and Hugo in the front two is the way, said Omar. Thank you, Omar. They look good together, Craig. What's your thoughts, matey? If Salah stays, I definitely would like to see him as an option for the second attacker. So whether it's, Salah, Ekitike, Isak, any two of those three, as long as Ekitike is one of them, I think we could use them as second attackers with the likes of Wirtz in the hole behind, Mack in the hole. Yeah. It'll be really, really interesting to see if we do stick with this change in system, or if when Gakpo comes back, we revert back to going to wide players again. I am intrigued by that one, because it's almost like necessity has created a system that has made us keep 2 clean sheets. What else we got? Arne Slot, after the game, said, I'm very pleased. You can see today what it means for the players. If you play 4 games in 10 days at the intensity levels of the Premier League and the Champions League, it was a great game to watch. You can see the problems we had during the game. James Pearce says, a smiling Mohamed Salah turns down interview requests as he walks through the mix zone. 2 weeks in a row. No. So look, at least that's, no big dramas there after the game from an interview perspective. Ekitike new to the league and is tearing it up. People deserve not deserve to voice a current... What? Do FPL people not deserve to voice a current reasonable comment? So you think Ekitike or Isak shite is a fair comment? And I couldn't give a fuck. Mate, it's my channel, and if I don't like a comment, I'm going to talk about it. Nobody's forced me to be here. And if you think anybody insulting our own players is acceptable, I don't know what to say. It's not a reasonable comment. A reasonable comment is, Isak needs to get his finger out. He hasn't been good enough so far. He needs to show more. That's what a reasonable human being would say. But the internet hasn't got many reasonable human beings when things are down, do they? They've got arseholes that just want to shit all over people. So it isn't reasonable. It's an idiot comment. Don't like it? Tough. Start your own channel. Make your own comments. Have a little time out, though. Have a little time out to think about what Uncle Craig said. You support the team, mate. You should want your players to do well. And there's ways of talking about them. I've said multiple times Isak hasn't been good enough. But I don't say he's shite. I don't say he's washed. I don't say we got robbed. That's just Tico comments. People forget that Isak takes time. And on the FPL stuff, I couldn't give a shite what people have in their FPL, mate. I couldn't give a fuck what people put in their FPL. People forget that Isak takes time to get into the squad. First season with any team was not that good. Just watch back his stats. It doesn't matter. Anybody at this point, to be writing off anybody is just silliness. Any new player in the first few months to be written off by someone who professes to be a Liverpool fan in the way that it's being talked about is embarrassing. We were winning the game today and people were moaning out in the first 10 minutes. Winning the game and people were moaning about the style. Isak is shy. We have to move on. Well, you have moved on. Keane's made you move on there in the chat. Off you go. Just call yourself a glory hunting little shit and be done with it. Honestly. You know, bro, this isn't good enough, bro. We're only winning 1-0, bro. We're 10 minutes in, bro, and it's not 9-0, bro. And my FPL, I can't even get a hard on because my FPL isn't good enough. Bro, this, bro. I couldn't give a shit. Just shut the fuck up and support him. It's Chiesa and Ekitike up front could be sensational. What do you think? You wrote off Slot after a bad run. Yeah, I did. After a bad run. A generationally bad run. And you were happy with that, were you? Like, to try and compare Isak's situation with Slot, it's fucking stretching. It's embarrassing. And unlike others, I've said many times, I'm open to being won back around by Arna. Jesus Christ, it's weird little freaks. Honestly, just weird little freaks. But it's okay. The block button's quick. Where are we at? Jones changed nationality to Brazilian. His dribbling game was a feat to watch. Fair play. Really starting to appreciate his quality the more I watch him since he's back in the squad. Craig, this man Ekitike certainly knows where the back of the net is. Wow. Salah, so good to see him back smiling in a possible new role. Just hope the injuries aren't serious. Yeah, we'll certainly let you know as soon as we know anything on the Jones and Szoboszlai situations. Why is the response after this performance to criticise Isak? Because people are just idiots, mate. It's as simple as that. Like, even to try to equate people being unhappy with a manager after a record run of losses to people being unhappy with Isak after a handful of minutes, it's just brain dead. Like, it just tells you the intellect of these idiots that are trying to come in to compare stuff. They don't have a positive bone in their body. They only come on the internet to shit on people and be negative and then profess to be Liverpool fans. The problem we have on here is we don't know who's a real fan and who isn't. We don't know if people are on a wind-up or not. So all I can do is give my opinion on every single take. Yeah. Danny Bingham said, in the main stand, Kirkes, Jones, Canade, wow. Well, I'm glad you went to the game, mate, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure you did. And I agree with you on those three performances. All very good. Saunders said, no hate on Núñez, but he got 3 years and we still love him. Isak gets 20-minute cameos for 3 months and they call him shy. I know. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. If he's played the whole season and is missing sitters, by all means, we'll talk about it. But he hasn't even been fit yet. You know, he hasn't been good enough, but he hasn't been fit yet either. Just stick to FIFA if that's your attitude, because I don't want you here if you're going to just come in and shit all over your own players. If you want to talk about performances today, let's talk about Curtis Jones being top-notch. Let's talk about Ekitike bagging a brace. Let's talk about Kirkes having one of his best games in the Liverpool shirt. Let's talk about Alisson Becker making big save after big save. Why don't we talk about them things? Why don't we talk about the Salah situation having a good resolution now before he goes to the AFCON? You know, these are the things we should be talking about. not the negative idiots that just want to take us all down, who thrive in this shit. Man, feel for Gomez. The dude's cursed. I really hope it's nothing too serious. I really, really do. Yeah. Seth Daniel, toxic Craig as always. It's okay, Seth. It's okay. You will see a pair of boobs someday, mate. I've got faith in you. I'm not toxic. I just don't put up with dickheads. It's very simple. Learn what the word toxic is, you little bitch. And nobody asks you to come in. If you hate me so much, bitch, why are you watching every stream? You're Craig Curious. It's okay. You're not the first. You won't be the last. You come in, you see this alpha male. You think to yourself, fuck, if only. My life's not great. I look at him and I just see it. Machismo just oozing out of him. Confidence, intelligence. Just a beautiful lack of hair. And you just think, fuck, that's not me. I'm sitting at home here. Me little pecker in me hand. Just dreaming about the day where I see a pair of tits. And I see this man having it all. I know, it's tough. It's tough, you know, especially when you're looking at it, like the guy. I get it, Seth, but, you know, never mind me belly aching. You know, my belly aching has got us 365,000 subscribers. But, you know, I'm toxic. Just admit you're a little bitch. And we get on with life, bro. Just admit you're a little bitch. Leave the big stuff to the top dog. And I'll keep doing me. Row, row. I love this shit, by the way. This is fun for me. So don't ever think that I'm biting on this stuff. This just makes me laugh. Because these lads think they could debate me. If they sat in a room with me, they would end up in the fetal position on the floor after about 5 minutes of me tearing them a new one. And I'm not saying that in an aggressive physical manner. I'm saying they don't have the intellect. They don't have the bandwidth to debate me. You know, I grew up with savages of mates. And I love them all dearly for that. My son is a savage. My 13-year-old son would rip him a new one. It's all good. It's all good. I know what'll make you feel at home. Sorry, I've got it now. I've got it. The Matrix. It's the fucking Matrix, mate. The Matrix is ruining all of this. The Matrix. It's the Matrix. That's probably more your style, isn't it? It's the Matrix. The Matrix is just keeping us down. But now, the Matrix. Dave said Craig Curious has to be a shirt. Oh, do you know what we haven't talked about in a while, actually? An old set of Heronomics, which I feel like we've seen from Curtis Jones today. Curtis Jones out here performing his Heronomics. I'm no expert, but I follow football long enough to know some players take time to settle and others hit the ground running. Yeah, look, I remember going back, and I've been doing this now for 8 or 9 years, and I remember going back and seeing it happen with Lallana, Henderson, Dominic Szoboszlai, Jones. And look, sometimes these people have a point, but the problem that I have with them is if they don't change the perception. So the Curtis Jones one's a really interesting conversation, Rob, because I was saying for the last couple of months about Curtis Jones progressing. And a lot of people were still just saying he's shit. But then you see the stats start to come out and the conversation starts to go. And then all of a sudden they start to change their opinion. And I'm glad they do. I'm glad they do, because we all have opinions. But the problem on the internet is people think that an opinion you have once should be your opinion forever. And like these things aren't fluid situations. And performances, results don't change and alter your opinion. So you used to be Arne Slot out. Of course. I never said otherwise. But you neglect the part where I say anybody should be able to win somebody back around. And no situation should ever be final. So if you don't look at these things and say you're unhappy and then admit that you're happy with a performance changing, then you have an agenda. But what we talk about on here are opinions. Jones hasn't been good enough, now he is being good enough. Arne wasn't good enough, now we're getting results. It's not that hard. Do you guys find that in your time on the internet though, or is it just me? Somebody says, you said this once, therefore that has to be you forever. You're not allowed to change your opinion. It's a very strange mindset. Long time, been busy with work, said Carbon, but is there any news on our young Leone? I don't have a dicky bird, mate, unfortunately, on Leone. You leave it with me, Carbon, excuse me. I'll try to find out something on it. But yeah. And to look, by the way, there are people who said stick with Slot. And to those people, this is turning in your direction and fair play. Look, like I said, I take no pleasure in saying I wanted the manager out. Breaks my heart saying it. First time I've ever said it on here. But I'm absolutely open to him turning it round. And I absolutely want him to turn it round. We just have to say what we're seeing, you know? And that does change from week to week. Can I get a merch shirt with I'm Craig Curious on it? We don't sell any merch, but yeah, that was one of my early comebacks to people who were just coming and going, I hate you, I hate you, I always watch you and I hate you, but I'm here every week. So I just said, look, you're Craig Curious, it's okay. People always cry about shite. We won 2-0. Smile. Yes, please, Sonder. Yes, please, bro. I'm with you. Haters are always going to hate Craig. Big up. F-Man U. There you go. Something I can get on board with, bro. Thank you. Eddie. I think Hugo's more goals than Darwin already. I don't know on that one, Eddie. Look, I have to hold my hands up on the Hugo thing. You know, when Hugo came in, I did not know we were getting someone this good. I didn't. You know, I would have been the first one to say to you, that's a lot of money. But God, what a signing he's been so far. And what really impresses me most about Hugo is, you know, sometimes you get that special thing where you get a player who starts well, but you also think they get it. I feel that about Hugo. I think he gets it. I think he gets the vibe of the club. I think he gets the fans. And I think he really feeds off the love. You know, players talk about that a lot. But I think with Hugo Ekitike, he really does feed off that energy. It is a very symbiotic relationship. And it's a beautiful thing to see. Because the ones that we do fall in love with, they have that trait in abundance, don't they? Your Andy Robertsons. They just do. You just fucking feed off the desire of them. It's intoxicating. Arna Slot, talking about Hugo Ekitike, said this. Very well, but I think I can see the players we've brought in this season have progressed. They're getting stronger and stronger, fitter and fitter. I can see them getting stronger in the duels they play. Hugo is an example of that, but others are examples of that too. So, folks, where are we at? We'll talk about it in the late night agenda tonight, but where are we at now with the gaffer for you guys? Because there's no denying unbeaten in 5 with 3 wins and 2 draws is definitely trending in the right direction. There's no denying we've seen some more fight and effort from the players from probably the Leeds game onwards. But now we're backing up that fight and effort. We're back-to-back clean sheets and 2 wins. And that does mean something. So it feels like the backing of the manager from the club is at least going in the right direction. And I've always been open to accepting the turnaround because ultimately win-win. You know, if Arna's winning, we're all winning. So that's where I'm at with the manager. I'm not back to where I was at the end of last season with them, but it's very clear the players haven't thrown him under the bus and haven't stopped playing for him. And you've always got a chance at that point. Dave said, Craig, Connor, fireman, Christmas calendar incoming. You don't want me in a foreign calendar. People would be like, why is there 2 hoses in the picture? He wishes. Tide is turning, said Anthony. Harna out for Chiesa alone. I'll never understand that treatment. Mate, I won't, of Chiesa. That has me baffled. Right, your man of the match. So, with 7,800 votes and 75% of the vote, your Anfield Agenda man of the match is Hugo Ekitike. Thank you so much to everyone that voted. I'm off to record the player ratings. You live on the internet, Unibrow? I am, yeah, but don't worry. Tell your mum I'll be around in about 15 minutes, Carlito. Just finishing up here, and then Unibrow, or Papa Craig, as you shall now be calling me, will be around to service your Elwyn in a minute, mate. Don't worry, I won't shave the unibrow because she loves the tickle. You know yourself. Sure, you've probably heard it. I'll see you guys for the player ratings video in a few minutes. If you would like to submit your player ratings, make sure that you join the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp. It's got the QR code there on the screen that will bring you into the WhatsApp, where you will see the form to submit your player ratings. I'm off to tickle some vaginas with the unibrow. We'll see you later on for the Anfield Agenda Late Night Agenda. Adios. If you don't see me, you know I'm busy with this L1, but I'll try and make time for you later.